How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Pooka. This is a movie from December 2018, and this is Season 1, Episode 3 of Into the Dark. Into the Dark was Blumhouse TV teaming up with Hulu to give us a new horror movie every single month of the year, and it lasted for roughly 2 years, and each month was usually themed around the holiday that it came out, the holiday of that month. So of course the December movies are Christmas horror. This is directed by Nacho Vigalondo and stars Nyasha Hatendi, Latarsha Rose, and John Daly. In this movie, we get a struggling actor, and he gets a job being a mascot for a new toy line, the Pookas, which are kind of similar to Furbies. He gets the mascot, he gets the suit, and he eventually finds that the suit kind of has a life on its own, and strange, surreal things start to happen. And yeah, the Pooka. If you guys know your folklore, you know that Pooka was an Irish spirit that was sort of a mischievous fairy character, and later on, the name would also be used in Dig Dug, the classic 1980s game. The Pooka was the name of the little red enemy with the yellow goggles. Dig Dug, one of my favorite retro arcade games. Really, really cool, and yeah, definitely love it. But anyway, so yeah, they're using a name that's been pre-established. But I do want to say that this one was one that I had been looking forward to a bit. When I first decided to watch the Into the Dark movies, I scrolled around and tried to get a gist of what was in there, and I saw this one. And yeah, this one, right on the cover, a really cool, crazy-looking character. The Pooka's design has these big headlight eyes and this big, plastic mouth thing. It looked really cool, and I wanted to see the movie that this character went to. This was the one I was the most excited for. Plus, I think this is the only one in all of Into the Dark that had a sequel, Pooka Lives. So yeah, I was really itching to check it out. But that being said, I went to Thanksgiving with my family, and I met up with my cousin, and quite randomly, I didn't prompt him or anything, but he started talking about this movie. He goes, yeah, I found this movie on Hulu. It was about this toy, and it was really, really weird. And I was like, whoa, you're talking about a movie that I'm just happened to plan to watch myself. I was like, hey, I'm literally watching that in a week or two. But yeah, I got a little bit of a heads up that it was kind of a weird movie, and that is something you need to go into, you need to know this going in, is I was kind of expecting a killer toy movie, something like Child's Play, but this really isn't like Child's Play, it's more like an art house nightmare. In fact, the ending, of course, does remind me of another famous horror movie ending, but it's hard to say what that is without spoiling both of them. But yeah, think surrealist art house horror nightmare. It's not so much about the creepy toy, although that being said, the creepy toy is in there, but it's more about the guy in the suit, what the Pooka character actually is, and finding out the real story here. One of those where the real story is revealed in little pieces throughout the movie, and you finally understand what's really going on. And overall, I have to say, it was different than the killer toy movie I thought it would be, but it's still a really, really fun, out there horror movie with a great amount of atmosphere. A lot of this movie really does work. For example, our lead. At first, he's a little closed off, he's a little reserved, and he's got the struggling actor personality, which, we have seen before, but I do like how the character, he starts off a little bit flat, but as the movie goes on, as he gets a friend and a girlfriend and a job, and you start to see more facets to his character, and then plus when real big elements of the truth start to come in, you start to realize, oh man, there's actually a lot going on with him. And I do like that he starts out seemingly flat, but then becomes more and more complex as the movie goes on. That's a cool little trick there. And also, yeah, the pieces and the mystery work really well as well. Throughout the movie, more and more things come together. You'll get things like one piece of a phone call earlier on, and then the next piece coming in later on as well. And then you get like more context. And then you get things like repeated lines or mirrored scenes. There's one scene with a Christmas tree that's knocked over that you first see in a surrealist setting before you see where it actually happened. And I do like how the mystery unfolds there. That's really cool as well. But as dark and surreal as we do get, and I do want to stress how important this is, we always have Pooka. And that's sort of a thing, is this could be kind of a gloomy art house movie, but Pooka being such a wild and crazy character, it's a way of always keeping a sense of joy and levity and life into this series that really does help it stand out, helps it be a ton more enjoyable. And yeah, you know, you can see dark surrealist imagery, but then you're always like, yeah, Pooka, you know, so that's pretty cool as well. Another thing I also want to say with the atmosphere is this movie actually nails a Christmas atmosphere I don't necessarily see done terribly much, but this movie gets really dark, and then with either surreal Argento lighting or with just Pooka's eyes, there's bright flashes of, you know, intense artificial color, and that really does feel like Christmas to me. When it's Christmas, the nights get darker way earlier, so it's almost pitch black out there, but then we see these bright Christmas lights and lights from other Christmas decorations, and this sort of, you know, blackness with red light pouring in, that really is more Christmassy than people give it credit for, so I really do love that. So yeah, go in knowing that this is less child's play and more art house with the humorous side. You gotta know that going in. There's definitely some weird imagery in this. But overall, before this, I had saw the 2 Halloween episodes of Into the Dark, and I also saw the 2 Thanksgiving ones, and I have to say this is easily the best one I've seen so far. A really fun, crazy movie. Just know there is surrealism. Expect the surrealism going in, and know that this is going to be weird, and it's not so much, there's the Pooka, smash it with the bat. Although that movie would be fun too. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points, and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the movie's about. So no major spoilers, but I do want to do a bit of analysis here. Anyway, we open up with this actor. He moves to a new apartment in a new city. He's wanting a fresh start. But he's not the most successful actor, and he's spending his time applying for a bunch of auditions, studying his roles. They actually, in a quite clever thing, he's studying the role of Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. That's a great way to show what he's doing, but also tie it to Christmas and get some fun Christmas Carol quotes with that really great imagery, you know? So, yeah, cool that he's studying Christmas Carol. And then we get a fun scene with a casting agent that, you know, really showed you that this movie was going to have more of a sense of humor than you might have thought. He comes into the casting agent, and he starts to do his speech, and then she's like, okay, we've heard enough. And then she has him do this dance, the sort of Pooka dance, where he doesn't really know what it is, and he's like, I do the dance like this? And then the producer comes in and says, we'll see no more people. It's him. He is our new actor. So he gets picked right off the bat in this really funny scene where he has no idea what he's doing. And then they show him the Pooka. And the Pooka, like I said earlier, very reminiscent of toys like the Furby, where they were cute but also kind of creepy and weird, and you never knew what a Furby would do, and much like that, you never really know what the Pooka's gonna do. And the Pooka, the idea is he's always listening, and you don't know what he's gonna learn and what he's gonna repeat. So a Pooka might randomly say what you said back to you, which do lead to some funny lines with the Pooka swearing or something. But he also has a naughty and nice mode where you don't know if the Pooka's gonna, speak in his happy Pooka voice or his angry Pooka voice. So he's got some sort of learning. You're not sure what's up with that. But yeah, he's a sort of an oddball, a wild character. But on top of that, they're marketing it in a really weird way. They're telling everybody about it, but Pookas are only sold at one pop-up location, and they only sell a certain number a day. So they're essentially creating artificial scarcity for these toys there. So that is an interesting market. But because there's only one location, this actor who is going to go into the Pooka suit and greet the kids at the store, he's the only one who is Pooka. It's his character. There are no other actors, but he also has to sign a non-disclosure agreement, so he can't tell anyone that he's Pooka. So it's this sort of weird secret that he is the Pooka. He's the only one playing Pooka. It is only him, so that is another layer there. But anyway, he gets to sort of build up his life after that. He meets a neighbor who is sort of his only friend at first, He has his neighbor, he has his girlfriend. His girlfriend, the manager, actually, when the manager sees that he likes her, goes up and gets her name, so he kind of sets him up there. And the girl's a real estate agent, and she has a kid, so he's trying to woo her and also win the kid over. And, it's really good to see, these people that come into his life and make his story more complex. Neighbor, girlfriend with the kid, and also the manager. And yeah, the manager is a fun character as well. Really working and selling the Pooka. It's the greatest thing ever. A sense of charisma about him. So some interesting characters come into his life. But, of course, things get surreal. And they have the scene that lets everyone know kind of what type of movie this is going to be, is you see him in the Pooka suit in his apartment, and he starts knocking things over and wrecking up the place. But then the Pooka walks off screen one direction, and a door opens and he walks in the other direction. So what happened there? And I feel like whenever movies do something a little different, there's usually that scene that cues you in. Think the opening scene from Halloween Ends. And whenever I see one of these scenes like, hey, we're doing something different, I get a little bit worried. I get like, okay, they're going to do something different. This could either go really great or it could go terribly. And luckily this one went great. Like I said, if this movie was just smashing plush toys with baseball bats, I would be happy. And the surrealist nightmare we get afterwards is different, but it turned out to be very strangely entertaining. I wouldn't say it's the best movie ever, but you're constantly wondering what's going on here. There are several things. It's like, okay, is he just crazy? Is the Pooka suit possessing him? Or is the suit itself alive? And you don't really know what's going on. And then when you start to question reality, boy, are all bets off. And you really don't know what's gonna happen. You'll see a surreal image, and maybe it won't be real, but even if it's not real, maybe it still has weight and importance and meaning, and then you'll start to see the story fill in from multiple angles. piece together clues, solve the mystery. Things have importance once, but then they'll get brought up again and recontextualized. And it really is a cool, interesting story, you know? Like I said, I would have loved a story that was just, you know, a killer toy bash the Pooka with a baseball bat. But seeing this guy, seeing this actor, and having it kind of be a character study for him, having it be a surrealist, am I going insane movie, it was different, but overall, I still really liked it. And I hinted at this earlier, but I do want to stress how important this is. The Pooka is a fun character, and it lends a great sense of humor into this movie that really does help liven things up. When it gets too dark and serious, we still get Pooka. They'll show scenes from the commercial, and the commercial is just off the walls with the Pooka dancing around, and, you know, those big, crazy, bright lights, and then plus, when they have the Pooka doing something serious, it does get pretty funny. There's one scene I really do like where he's really depressed and out of it, and he's sitting on his bed in his boxers with the Pooka mask on, and that was just a hilarious visual right there. Almost put it in the thumbnail, but I had to go more standard. But anyway, yeah, surreal, comedy, haunted toy, fun Christmas atmosphere. Overall, I don't want to say this is perfect, but it is a really fun movie. It is clearly the best Into the Dark I've seen so far. I'm looking forward to the sequel, although I don't expect it to be as good, but we'll see, and I really am looking forward to, because, like I said, the past Into the Darks have been okay. Some up, some down, but I really am looking forward to this sort of hidden gems and fun surprises like this one, and I hope to get to more Into the Dark soon. I'm hoping to get to the other Christmas episode this year as well. But yeah, fun stuff. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Christmas movies playlist. If you guys want to see the other Christmas movies I talked about Silent Night, Deadly Night, all of those movies. I talked about Krampus. I talked about lots of fun Christmas movies, predominantly horror, and you can find those in my Christmas playlist here. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Christmas playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.